As dawn breaks and the big orange ball rises in the sky, there are some of us who would rather sleep in silence.
Well, I'll tell you what, the gang is usually a lot more active, full of beans, especially when we're on a shoot. But can't really blame them. Not only did we have an early start, but we're in a Mercedes Benz. Yes, it's all nice and comfortable. And then add to that the fact that it's an electric Mercedes. Well, it's nice and silent and very smooth. So like I said, can't blame them. But at some point, the good news is that on an EV like this, you can do a lot more than just be smooth and silent. That will wake them up.
Yes, it's Mercedes EQ's first ever all-electric car globally, and its launch in India shows that there is a good deal of interest for EVs beginning to build here too. Sure, these are imports and so priced rather steep, but considering that they are still sold out, now that is a statement.
The good part is that the EQC is just as entertaining to drive as so many other Mercedes-Benz cars, and that's because that's where this whole development started from, to make it a true Mercedes-Benz. And don't forget that any new model from this company carries the legacy of all these years of development, which is why you get the best technology and also the culmination of all of that engineering, over 100 years of engineering.
The EQC gets two asynchronous motors, one at each axle, and the combined power output is 408 bhp. There is 700 Nm of peak torque too, which, like all EVs, is instantly available.
Electric drivetrain, instant torque, baby. And that means 0 to 100 in just 5.1 seconds. So on the highway, this car promises to be a lot of fun. I do have to be careful though, because I want to make it all the way to the Pink City and maybe have a lot of charge left to spare. So I'm going to be a little smart about it.
Yes, we are on an adventure, the first long-distance road trip with an electric car, and we are calling it the EQ Adventure. The EQC is all about efficiency, sustainability and performance. But given our traffic and road conditions, the claimed WLTP range was always going to be tested. So we made sure we began with a full charge. Now the front motor is tuned for providing optimum efficient performance, while the rear motor is employed to offer a more dynamic feel when driving. So a perfect balance. The EQC gets an 80 kWh lithium-ion battery pack, which weighs 652 kilograms, and it's mounted on the floor. It packs in 384 individual cells and is, of course, water and dust resistant. Mercedes-Benz offers battery cover for 8 years, and that's been an industry first. The low placement of the battery pack means that the center of gravity is low, and that in turn means the car is stable at high speeds, be it going straight or around a corner. Plus, to accommodate the weight, the chassis has been made stiffer as well, and that gives you the confidence to push it on the highway.
Now, my journey today is under 300 kilometers and the range on this car is just over 400. So I'm not really worried about that, and which means I can take a few liberties, right? Get into sport mode. Yes, this car has many different driving modes, but the whole point of driving an EV is to also get that experience on a long stretch like this, on how you can manage that battery and get some of that juice to last a little bit longer. So yes, I'm going to have some fun, but I will also drive in eco mode when the car very intelligently conserves power.
So how can you do it? Well, the answer is regenerative braking.
Now, when you're coasting along, the car gives you a little bit of that charge back into the battery. Why? Because you have regeneration, of course. The good thing though, like many electrics, on this too, you get a little control on that. So using the paddle shifters, which have no other role, of course, on this car, all you have to do is go D- or D-, and that means maximum regeneration. That's also single pedal driving because you don't really have to use the brake too often. The car almost does that for you as it tries to extract all of that kinetic energy and convert it into power. If you don't like any of that, you want to go completely smooth and don't want any resistance, well, in that case, you can go D+. But as you can see, occasionally on the highway, you do get some traffic. So it's nice to get some of that juice back into the battery.
So as we entered the Jaipur city limits, it was time to just sit back and navigate the crowded roads and take every opportunity to use the regenerative braking. I wouldn't usually enjoy continuously braking, but when it reaps rewards in the form of more kilometers, well, I can do this all day. The pink city was playing the perfect host to this green companion of mine, and it was time to take it into one of the most amazing properties in the city, the Le Méridien Jaipur Resort and Spa. A sprawling property, the hotel is all about luxury and that touch of Rajasthani romance. A perfect spot to see a car like this pull up. And the good news, we had installed our first charger here, making this an EV-friendly hotel now.
So while the car gets its juice, time for me to fill up too. Well, the car would be fully recharged by now. I'm getting there as well because it is time for a new day and to take the EQ adventure forward. Onwards to the next leg then.